way that sparked an investigation and a search and rescue process that was unprecedented in Oregon.
If they do think that they see him, call his name out. You know, take a picture of a vehicle or the people that you feel have him.
I know firsthand what it's like when you're in the middle of a media spotlight when your child goes missing. I also know what it's like when the public attention moves on, but your child is still out there somewhere. That spotlight focused here in Oregon 2 years ago, when one of the biggest missing child cases in the country took place. And while the media has moved on, Kyron Horman has not. With steadfast tenacity and a belief that his missing son Kyron is still alive, he does everything in his power, day in and day out, to find out what really happened to his precious son. The story begins in Beaverton, Oregon. That's when Kyron Horman said goodbye to his son Kyron for the last time.
We stopped in the yard and had a little chat before he went up to school. We just talked about the day and just tried to calm him down a little bit. He looked a little bit anxious, as he normally is on days like that or when there's events. I just remember the conversation pretty well. Told him that I loved him. He told me that he loved me, and I gave him a kiss on his forehead, and he gave me a hug, and then he went inside, and that's the last time I saw him.
Kyron was anxious because he had to present his tree frog project at the annual Skyline Elementary Science Fair. Terry Horman, Kyron's stepmom, drove him to school that morning in Kyn's pickup. Investigators say after the fair, Terry left Skyline with her and Kyn's 18-month-old daughter, and at some point returned home. Around 3:30 p.m., Kyn had come home from his engineering job early to greet Kyron as he got off the bus, but Kyron was nowhere to be found.
The door opened up and the bus driver said, "Well, Kyron's not on the bus today." It was panicked. We get in the car and we start driving up.
When Kyn and Terry made it up to the school, they found out Kyron left the science fair, but never made it to his first class at 8:45 a.m.
Kyron was reported missing and sparked an investigation and a search and rescue process that was unprecedented in Oregon. Involved thousands of people, tens of thousands of hours of investigation and search and rescue time.
Weeks went by with no sign of Kyron, and pretty soon, all sights were set on his stepmother, Terry.
Terry Horman was the last person that we know of that saw Kyron at 8:45 on June 4, 2010. Initially, Terry Horman was cooperating with our investigators fully and was communicating with them. And approximately 28 days into the investigation, she hired an attorney and stopped talking to us altogether.
Kyn says Terry failed 2 polygraphs and walked out on a 3rd. It wasn't long after Terry stopped cooperating when investigators dropped a bombshell on Kyn.
And then we got briefed on the murder for hire plot that they had discovered while looking at some of the people associated with the case.
It was shocking news for Kyn. Terry allegedly tried to hire a landscaper to kill him. Kyn quickly got a restraining order and filed for divorce. When the couple split, Terry turned her back on their young daughter, Kira, and has not seen her child in more than 2 years. Terry returned home to the house she grew up in Roseburg, Oregon. We made the trip to Roseburg to try and chat with Terry as she came out of her house, but she did not want to talk. Investigators say at the moment, Terry is not a suspect or a person of interest. With more than 5,000 leads, 60,000 investigative hours, and 71 investigative binders, Kyn has not given up, and he will never give up. From the moment he wakes up until the time he goes to bed, Kyn is figuring out ways to keep the word out about Kyron.
Kyn has organized a campaign to keep Kyron's name out in the public eye, and he's been at some sort of event every weekend.
There's a gap in our lives. It's noticeable. He has a room and a bed that was occupied full time. He was there every day. I've got a 3.5, almost 4-year-old reminder of what he looks like and some of the things he used to do when he was that age. And I need to be able to look at her and look at myself in the mirror every day and know that I'm doing everything I can on his behalf. We need to make our home complete.
It's been over 2 years now. What keeps you going?
Well, the fact that he's still missing. We've got a family unit at home that has a part of it that's gone. I've got a daughter that I look after that expects him to be home someday and looks at me as if, you know, Dad, when are we going to get this done? We talk about him all the time, and it's just needing to put that life back together that's now been torn apart.
What do you think happened that day?
I believe that his stepmother, she was the last one that saw him at school that day. I believe she has answers. I believe either she acted alone or with another person to get him out of the area.
The murder for hire plot, why has she not been charged? Why hasn't that moved forward?
Finding him is of the utmost importance, and I think the fear is in leading with one case that potentially, if that goes good or bad, depending on the outcome of that case, it could have an impact on the others. So I think it's a matter of leading with the strongest hand that we have that will help us locate him the quickest, and then everything else will follow.
Being accused of planning a murder for hire with you is one thing. Her having nothing to do with the abduction of Kyron, why wouldn't she say, I am totally innocent of this?
That's a great question, and I think we're looking for that type of cooperation and the same answers that everyone else is asking the questions for.
What should people have been looking out for that day?
That's one thing that's always weighed on my mind about that day is his stepmom was the last one to see him. She was familiar at that school. Everybody knew her. She was a volunteer there. And when I think about that day and the people in our community, I keep wanting to reach out to them and just get them to think through that day again and not just look for things that stand out that were not obvious, but think about the obvious.
Right.
Think about what you did that was just normal, plain faces that you would normally see there. And retrace some steps. Look through the things that they have. If they have photos or even paperwork from that day, come bring it in. Come turn it in. There could be something in the background of a photo. There could be something on a document that has a timeline or a date stamp on it that could help.
If he's out there, what should people look for?
I think one thing is everyone's still looking for the smaller 7-year-old boy with the glasses and the big smile. So we're showing a lot of the age progressed photos that have been done both with glasses and without, so people can start to get a better image in their head of maybe what he looks like today, as he could be walking right by people without them on, and because he doesn't have them, nobody's even taken a second look.
So we want people to say, I think I saw that boy. I think I've seen a boy that's changed, and that may be that boy, or this boy showed up somewhere under the strangest circumstances, and make that call.
Yeah.
You're praying for that, aren't you?
I am, and if they do think that they see him, call his name out. Take a picture, take a picture of a vehicle or the people that you feel have him, but calling that name out is going to get his attention right away if it's him.
Your beautiful daughter was about 1.5 when Kyron was kidnapped. She knew him, she grew up with him, he was in the house. Now she's vocalizing. Does she ever talk about that day? Does she talk about the search?
It's always about, are we looking for him? Can we go look for him today after school? And it's a dialogue about how we look for him everywhere we go. And that we'll continue to do that until he comes home. And then when he comes home, she knows where he sleeps. She knows what he plays with. She's ready for when is he coming back so we can have our time together to play.
I've admired your strength and your courage over these last 2 years. You are that rock, Dad. You are that parent who's never going to give up. And I'm praying that somebody out there will give us the tip that you'll find out where Kyron is. God bless you.
Thank you.
Don't give up. I know you're never going to give up.
No, we won't.